hopefully you saw something like this in class. Two parallel lines, interior, exterior, exterior. The only thing I'll add
Yeah,
to this is there's sides, like this is a side and this is a side. And then
yeah,
I don't love these pictures, but there's all these other words that you have to know. Like, let me put these in here. Corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side exterior. Did you get any sort of reference like this in class?
yes, I do have a little packet.
Okay, you will definitely need that. I mean, I still, you would love to just have like a one-page thing, uh, where like all this was here but more clear. But so when we do the problems today, it's not like the answer, the math isn't difficult. It's like why is it right? That's really like what's more important. So I'll give you an example here. Let's look at number one on your page. So number one, got the blue lights going. Love it. Um, the angle one, well, I'll just tell you, it's either 40 or 140. And it's 140, but the question is why? Really, that's what matters here. Why? And it goes back to, well, which of these is it? And that's what I guess is more important to me today, is to get you comfortable with like what the name is. So what do you think? What do you see?
Is that
So let's start with something. Are they on the same side of the transversal? This is the transversal here. Are they on the same side?
yes?
They are. So we could at least use words like they're same side. Are they both in the interior or in the exterior? You have to be both. Are they both in the interior, both in the exterior?
Uh,
This is
both in the
interior.
interior.
This is on the outside is the exterior.
Yeah,
To me, it's one interior, which is the 140, and it's one exterior, which is the one. So
yeah,
if we go back to this picture, I know it's rotated, but it's like if you have the two pair of lines, the interior is in the middle, the exterior is the top and the bottom, or if it's flipped, which I can't do on this, but if we could rotate it, you would see that. So in this case, all of this means corresponding. It was really weird to say same side, but one's in the interior, one's in the exterior. That's why they use the word corresponding. Okay. So again, like it's not the number that's important, it's why, which is geometry. Geometry is about why. So I'll give you the answer is 70. You don't need the degree symbol. Why is it 70? What kind of angles are these?
um,
And start with, are they on the same side of the transversal?
they are on the same side. Yeah.
So same side. Okay, now are they both in the interior, both in the exterior, one in both?
One and the other.
Okay, so one interior, one exterior. What does that all turn into?
Corresponding.
Corresponding, yeah. So one of the ways I think about corresponding is I think of like these as intersections. It's like the streets are roughly parallel, and it's like, oh, yeah, at this intersection there's a circle K, and at this other intersection there's a circle K. Like you've seen that before, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like, wow, they're the same. To me, that's corresponding. They're the same. Okay, let's look at number 5. We will go back and do 4. Right, so the answer is 119. Why though? Why is it 119? Oh, you don't need the degree symbol. Stop doing it.
It also looks like a corresponding.
It is, yes. So this course is really heavy on definitions. How are you going to remember all this?
Um, Write it down probably. We're allowed to have note cards.
Great.
We write stuff down.
I would have a lot of note cards for the class. And don't wait till the end because it's a lot. Like do a few a day, or if you're sitting in the bus to go to school or something, like just find some time to write some of these down. Okay, finally we have one that is a little bit different. Number 4, but it's the same like procedure in terms of like trying to determine what it is. So are these on the same side of the transversal? Transversal is down here.
They are.
They are. So they're same side. Are they both in the interior, both in the exterior, or one each?
Interior.
Same side interior. So if they are same side interior, or if they are same side exterior, they add to 180 degrees, which means that they're not the same necessarily, but 133 plus this angle adds to 180 degrees.
Yeah.
So you're writing an equation. It's like 133 plus, let's call it x equals 180. And you have to solve for
47.
it's 47.
Yeah.
Some, oh, I did it again. I said I wasn't gonna do it. The answers for most of these problems will be either the same number or number that adds to get 180 for most of them. Okay. I know we're skipping a couple there. Do you need us to look at
Yes.
either 3 or
What a mystery.
I guess we're just skipping 3.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I did not know this.
All right. So okay, we go on to number 6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So measure of angle A, B, C. We want to find this angle right here. All right. Are these on the same side of the transversal?
No.
No. These alternate. Maybe. Now there's 2 alternates. There's alternate interior and there's alternate exterior. The problem with what you have here is that, well, one's in the interior, one's in the exterior. So neither of these apply. You might be thinking, well, how can I do this problem? Well, vertical angles. That's a good place to start. What do you remember about vertical angles?
Um, I have the image in my head, but I just can't put it into words. It's
So that they are congruent.
yeah.
So 83 is congruent to this angle over here, 83. So vertical angles meet at an X, which marks the spot. They're the same. So now, what about these 2 angles here, 83 and X? Are they same side or alternate? Are they on the same side of the transversal or do they alternate over it?
Same side.
Same side. Are they both in the interior or the exterior?
Interior.
Okay. So since they're both in the interior, this is just like the last one. They add up to what?
180.
Add to 180. Yeah. Very predictable. So you have to write an equation. 83 plus X equals 180.
97.
Yes. Now, it just so happens that that is the angle of ABC. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at number 7. All right, so before we find this angle measure, we're going to solve for it. And that's very common in these problems is you first solve for the variable. So there's that angle, there's that angle. What do you know about those two angles?
They are congruent, I think.
They're absolutely congruent, but it's kind of like a guess. Like it's either like, okay, they're congruent or they add to 180. So to make sure you know why they're congruent, what would they be called? Or what's the name given to these?
That's alternate interior.
Yes, good. Like truthfully, like if I were given this in a test, I wouldn't even ask you to solve. It would just be like you need to be able to identify these. That's what matters. The solving, I mean, you learned that in your previous course. So but because you do have to solve, they are congruent. You're setting the two equations equal to each other. And now this is stuff we did last year. This is stuff that you're supposed to know how to do, right? Like you saw it last year and remembering, connecting those neural pathways. Do you have questions about how to solve this? Do you need a hint? What do you need to be able to
I should be good.
say that one more time?
I should be good.
Okay, go ahead and solve it for X for us, please.
12.
Yes, X equals 12. So sometimes they want you to find X and you're done. But in this problem, they want you to find angle DEF. You just got to be careful that it's actually the one that you want. It is this one in red here. So you're going to have to put that X value back into this other equation.
Okay. 72.
Yes. Now, let's just say you messed up. You're like, I'm going to put it in the other one. 8 times 12 minus 34. You would also get 72 degrees. Is that surprising to you?
No.
It shouldn't be because they're congruent.
Yeah.
So sometimes like the teacher might ask you for the more complicated one, and you might as well just go back to the one that's easier to solve or to substitute in for.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to 8. Have you seen the t-shirt that says find X? It's kind of a math joke. And the kid points at the variable and says, I found it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And I kind of agree. Like it could say solve for X. Like this is like the best way to present this. So uh, now again, like I'm going to tell you these two angles are equal. X plus 15 equals 90 degrees. But why? Why? So it's more like an English class. It's more like, yeah, why is it, ethos or logos or pathos. I don't know if you're doing that in your English
Cite
class
your
or
evidence kind of
yes.
thing.
Like, what's your evidence? Like, yeah. So, um, what do you say? Why are these congruent?
They are on the same side.
Okay, so they're same side, but one is in the interior and one is in the exterior. What is that called?
That was corresponding.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead and solve for x, please.
Uh, 75.
Good. X is 75. Fantastic. All right. So I'd like you to try number 9 on your own. You don't have to give me a reason why, just solve for X and let me know what you come up with.
All right. Uh, 150.
Okay. 10. Where's 10? 10 is skipped. Okay, we're skipping 10. Actually, 12 is 12 is the one that's kind of what I was envisioning, that where they actually make you state all the theorems. But for 11, we'll do 11 first. I'll give you a big hint here. The answers to all of these are either 120 or 60. Okay. So it's like I would start at the given angle, like 120, and find like 7 and then 5 and 6, or then for first find 6 and then 5, but like stick to this region and then move out of your home base. So can you figure out what 5, 6, and 7 for are? And you don't need to justify it, but the answers are either this or this. Just being able to
It's 60.
5 is 60, agreed.
5 and 6 and 3 and 2. It's all 60.
Oh, you're already doing those, yeah. Good. So the others must be
120.
120. Okay, thoughts on that?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay. How do you feel when you see the red text on your assignment like this? I don't know if you're staring at you're probably not staring at the screen. It's like, oh, you're going along and then there's this red text.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You may need to help out here with the drop down menus, but measure of angle 3. So 3 is right there. Measure of angle 4 is right there. So are they congruent or do they add up to something?
They add up to something.
Yeah, they add up to 180. So I'm not sure what's in the drop downs here because I don't know what it says, but I think one of them is probably going to be the answer, which is to solve for X. I'm not sure. Can you look for us or is that
It's
too?
like, oh, like same side interior, like
Yeah, like that
is
one's probably
the
same set.
reason.
Yeah, but then is there one that says, oh, the X is below it. I see. So does that mean is next one maybe they add to 180?
Oh, the next one is answers. Okay. The next one.
Okay.
Or it's like how you solve, which is to add them together. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've got that. Try solving this for us, please.
All right.
I'm gonna just step away for 30 seconds, but I'll be right back.
All right.
And say the obvious, you can use a calculator if you need.
Four.
That's very good. Very good. This is like, maybe the most challenging type of problem you'll have. But unfortunately, like there's more to do. Like you found X, but now you have to put that back in to one or both to find the missing angle measures. So yeah, X is 4, great. But angle 3, well, you've got to put it back into this equation, the 23x, 23 times 4 plus 11, and then angle 4, 14 times 4 plus 21. So you have to do both of those calculations as well.
All right. For the first one, I have 103, and the next is 77.
Okay, now your check is like, do they still add up to 180? And they do. So you got it, you've done it perfectly. Right, so same picture here again, but as it's shown in red there, it's like, there's these are different angle measures. So we gotta make sure we take all that into consideration. So they're giving you angle 1. Why can't I move that there? Angle 1. So I like to go and circle it so I know what I'm referring to. Angle 2 is down there. Are those on the same side of the transversal or not?
No,
They're not. So they are alternating. Are they both in the interior or the exterior?
exterior.
Yes. So these are alternate exterior angles. Do you remember, are those congruent or do they add up to something?
Congruent.
Yes, they are congruent. So that means you're going to set them equal. So I think you've got to say like alternate exterior angles. And then you're going to say that they're congruent. This time you just set the equations equal.
Right. Eight.
Okay, perfect. Now this time, because they're congruent, you don't have to find them both. You just have to correctly do one or the other. So you actually can choose which equation you want to put it back into. Do either of them stand out to you? Like, do you like one more than another?
The second one.
Okay, so we got 10 times 8 minus 9.
As 71.
71. The other one is also 71. Very, very good. All right, so 14. The next after this one, they go pretty quickly. They're just drop downs. So I think we'll be able to finish everything. So it says define X and Y using systems of equations, and that's fine. You are supposed to recognize that these are parallel. The reason they're parallel though is because not because they look parallel, it's because these angles are the same here. Right? Since they're corresponding, that means that these angles are the same. So y is really equal to 2x. That's equation 1. This other one, 2x plus 3y, it's really unclear. I think it's referring to like blue here. I think it's referring to this angle right here. It's very unclear. Like it probably should be a little bit more clear that it's that angle. But it plus y equal 180. Because they form what's called a linear pair. Have you talked about that in class?
I think so.
Linear pairs when they're on the same line, there's an angle coming out like that. So we're looking for the system that matches what we have here. that's the correct box there. And that's the correct, so that's the two equations that we have.
Okay.
All right, now to solve this, we're going to substitute, but before we substitute, we're gonna combine like terms. So the 3y plus y becomes 4y. And then y is really 2x. So we're gonna put that 2x in for y. That's something you did last year, around the middle of the year. It might have been after or before we started working together. So you may,
Yeah, I
you
think
may,
so.
so but it's not that complicated, just substituting in. Now you only have one variable, which is great because you can solve equations with one variable. Will you solve this for x for us, please?
Sure. $18.
This is 18, perfect. Now to get y, you go back to the equation where it's solved for y. So if x is 18,
36.
yes. Because these are variables, they don't like add up to anything. They don't necessarily have to be equal. It's the angle measures where you see congruence and stuff like that. Okay, any thoughts on that before we move on?
No.
Okay, so 19 through 22 is the next grouping of questions. So we've done a lot of this now. The lines don't have to be parallel, like but you can think of this as the transversal. So I guess my question is, or I'm wondering here is like in the drop down, does it give you like all the options or does it just give you like, I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe that doesn't matter, but maybe you can just tell me some same side interior angles and I'll tell you yes or no on that.
All right. Uh, 2 and 6.
2 and 6. And then it's also 3 and 5. So what I'm wondering is if those are all available, or if just like you just pick one.
Yeah, it's just pick one.
All right. So for the next one, just let me know what you come up with.
Uh, 1 and 8. For the
Those work.
next.
It could also be 4 and 7. All right. So corresponding.
4 and 5.
It's 4 and 5 are perfect. Those work. There's a lot more. Those worked. And then alternate interior.
6 and 3.
Those work. Very good. All right. Next grouping of questions is to determine the transversal. So let me do it for like 2 and 3. So for the first one for 2 and 3, you're focusing on this right here. So it would be transversal P. That's one way to look at it. And then the other types of problems you'll see here is where you're focused on the other transversal, where it's Q. So probably the only transversals are P and Q in the dropdown. And then you have to say like, well, what are 2 and 3? And they
Yeah.
are, well, I take that back. I guess so let's do 2 and 3. And then do 4 and 5. And then we'll talk about 2 and 4. What do you think for 2 and 3?
Line P.
Line P, but then does it say, like, to classify the angle pair, does it say like, you know, congruent or alternate, or what does it say there for the next part?
There is no next part. It's just
That's it, it's just
is it
P?
line P or line P? Line
Okay,
Q,
all right,
I
well, that's
guess.
easy enough. So for 4 and 5, it's clearly Q. For 2 and 4, it's a little bit odd here. Reframe the
I
question.
think
So for
that's
2
an
and
L.
it is an L, you got it. And then for 1 and 2,
Uh, P.
yep. Okay, good. Okay, name a pair of alternate interior angles with transversal N. So like your focus has to be on N and then alternate interior. So so you don't want to draw the whole line, but you want to be like, all right, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, 7, there's 8, and there's 9. So which two angles are in the interior? The interior, and then they alternate. So they go across the transversal. So 5 and 8 look like the best choice
Yeah.
because they alternate and they're in the interior. Okay, for 28 here, same side interior angles with transversal L. I think it's good to kind of redraw it here as best you can. 8, 9, 7, 2, 3, and 1. And then which two angles are on the same side, but then also in the interior?
7 and 2.
7 and 2. And then for 29, transversal M. Again, maybe just draw a little cut for each of those. Label as much as you can. So this time we want corresponding. There's actually a couple of answers here. So to me, it looks like angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. You can kind of call them like top left. And then
Yeah.
angle 3 and angle 6 are corresponding. They're bottom right, bottom right.
Yeah.
Okay, now the next ones are just kind of going backwards with those, like for 3 and 7. Yeah, you almost want to go to the 3 pictures we have and figure like which one's got 3 and 7 in it. Only 3 and 7.
L.
L. And then I guess you can classify them. So the drop down there is probably all the ones we've looked at. You see how they're on the same side of the transversal, but one's in the interior, the 7, one's in the exterior. We've been going with corresponding for that. All right, so 5 and 8. 5 and 8. Which one are they in? L,
N.
M, N. Letter N. Good. And then what's the justification for that? 5 and 8. Are they,
Alternate in interior.
Yeah, good. And then the one we haven't done, you can see the pattern here. It's going to be letter M. 1 and 6. Those are alternate exterior. So you really gotta get those down. Yeah, you gotta know all of those really, really well, be able to do well in this part of the course. All right, I think we solved everything that you sent over. More importantly, I think you got some good information here. Let me quickly drop a couple of these links in the chat before I forget. I found a couple of good reference sheets, but they're way too big. They're just too much stuff. But you can decide if you want to do anything with those. All right, that is it for us for today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right there.